Good day, ma'am. Good day, classmates. Today we will present our discussion about the world religions. Here in our discussion, our members are going to discuss the different world religions and their relationship to the globalization of religion. So we have EGOT for Buddhism, Renton for Christianity and other globalization of religions, Atienza for Taoism, Masong for Hinduism, and Manalas for Islam. So let us now proceed to our lesson. So let us first answer this question. What is religion? So the definition of a religion is the human relation to holy, divine, upper beings that govern the universe. The teachings of a religion highly influence the way people think and act in life. There are many religions throughout the world, but there are majorities we consider the word religions. So, from what I've read and researched, religion is basically a group of people that follows a specific teachings from an upper being, but that depends on the religion itself. So throughout the world, there have been thousands of religions that come and go, but of course, we have the ones that we call the major religions, the one that dominate the others in terms of population, global scope. So the world distribution of the world religions is basically the world populations for each major religions. So the one that is the most dominant, the one with the most followers would be Christianity with around 31% throughout the world. Next is the Muslims with 25%. Unaffiliated, the ones who do not affiliate themselves in any religion or does not believe in a religion, that may be agnostic or atheist. They're around 15.6%. Hindus with 15.2%, and Jews with 0.2%, Buddhists with 6.6%, and folks with 5.6%. And according to other sources, Taoism is around 0.01% in terms of population. Now let us tackle about the religions in the modern world. Here we will learn what are the current world affairs and what is the current ideas of religions, what are they up to. So science has been part of our life since forever. And now let us see what is the relationship between religion and science, since science nowadays is very prominent. It is everywhere. It revolves around our lives. So first is Hinduism. So Hinduism generally sees science as a compatible idea for their beliefs. So according to this survey here, the statistics, about 38% in Singapore has disagreed that religion has conflicts with their religion, 20 in Mauritius, 16 in India, and 13 in Nepal. So when it comes to the answer no has not, meaning Hinduism has never, science has never and not once conflicted with their religion. Many have said yes, it does not affect the way they believe in science and their religion. And according to the interviews, science and the religion overlaps a lot. Now, when it comes to Buddhism, according to the surveys, many has disagreed that science conflicts with the religion, and many has stated that no, the religion has not or not once conflicted with science and vice versa. And according to the interviews, Buddhists think of science as a parallel to Buddhism. And let me quote one of the interviewers: Buddhism is a mindset, while science is practical. And now let us move on to Islam and Christianity. So, when it comes to Islam, in our survey, it says that many Muslims believe that science has a conflict with the way Islam teaches things, their belief. And that is also the same with Christianity, though there is more variety to it than Islam. So, according to an Islam interviewee, science and religion are related, but when it comes to specific areas of science like pregnancy technology and genetic cloning, it has become apparent that Islam has a conflict with science. And when it comes to Christianity, according to our survey, 35% of US Christians believe that science conflicts with specific areas of science. Now, I would like to connect a research that I have read and studied. So, in this research, the researcher tried to connect the attitude of the Islam and Christian people, though with a small sample, on how they would react to carbon copy storage. Now, according to Muslim interviewees, this technology conflicts with their beliefs as it disrupts the cycle of nature, while majority of the Christian samples do not believe that there is a conflict with their beliefs. They are either indifferent or they are pro to the idea of CCS. Now, this study stands with what I just said earlier. Islam has more specific conflicts with science, while Christianity has a diverse opinion about it. Now, I would like to also mention another study that I have read. It's about a research simulation of trade relationships and the relationship with their religion. So in this study, it has been said that though two people or business have the same religion, it does not guarantee a perfect relationship. Also, it has been discovered in the study that multiple religions working on a single geographical area brings more economic openness, trade openness between them, compared to when there is only a 1:1 or 1:2 relationship between the religions. And now let us talk about the world religions and their relationship with globalization, aka the globalization of religions. First is the religious perspective of globalization. What does different religious institutions believe what globalization is? How does it affect their religion and such? So first is the globalization as a threatening challenge and manifestation of evil. Uh, in a Christian study, it has been said that globalization is the opposite of religion. It causes very it causes many problems to our environment and causes violence and oppression. Therefore, religion and globalization are disproportionate. And then there's also another statement by Hans Kung. Globalization's bad side contributes to religion's role in global ethics. So, according to Hans Kung, religion is the other side of the coin with globalization. It is the opposite. Basically, religion is a response to globalization. Because of globalization's negative impact, religion is able to come in and make a positive impact about it. For example, the unification in globalization may come in as negative to some, but in religion, they make use of it to make it into a more positive idea by using religion as a unification, but also diversification becomes an integral part of globalization and global ethics by also providing social security to many people, which, in contrast to globalization, does not tolerate sameness. So now let us talk about religion's direction on globalization. What is religion trying to achieve in globalization and what path are they trying to take? So first is religion as a transnational institution, or TNI. So from the deep history of religions have always been trying to expand their belief, trying to get to more places in order to create more influence. But in our modern times, since many world religion has already created their influence and have a specific geographic location for their belief, it has been said that religion is a transnational institution, also due to because of the unification it brought. It also contributed to global migrants, which is basically basically missionaries from different religions going to different parts of the world in order to convert or spread more influence of that religion. Now, religion as a transnational institution has been very much apparent in our modern world today because religion uh, has been going over many borders of the world. For example, Buddhist temples in Brazil. There's also been many cases of Christianity in the African continent. Now, let us move on to the religion as a powerful cultural and political force. So, religion as a powerful cultural political force, uh, it is true to what it says because religion provides a source of home and identity to people globally. It allows people to find a religious institution where they feel they belong and become part of their culture. So, global migration of religions also contribute greatly to this idea as missionaries bringing their religions to different parts of the world created some kind of a mixing pot of cultures between the religion and the the place they are trying to spread their influence in. Uh, I would like to call this as localization of the religion. This is very much apparent in the African regions, where Christian communities have integrated indigenous African expressions into their belief, therefore creating a whole new diversity of religion in their area. It has also been very much observable in today's world that religion has been many parts of social political movements all around the world and globally, where they try to tackle very specific religious issues and or also response to different social issues. And lastly, we have religion as an integral dimension of globalization. So, since religion forms a globalized system of extended and broadly diverse sub-religions globally, we can say that religion is a globalized system. Though we, though if we look at the very localized communities of very specific religions, we can see very many differences between them and the original or the majority of that religion. The idea that it is still part of that religion stands, and therefore it is still part of the globalization of the religion or the globalized system. Similar to economic and political globalization's regionalism, the diversity of different regions of a religion forms a unity, a unification that in a global scale creates a global unification, aka a globalized system of religion. And that is all for the religion's direction of globalization. This has been a study from recent years, and I believe it will change as we see more studies, more observations done on what religion is trying to achieve nowadays. And now let us move on to Christianity. What is Christianity trying to achieve nowadays? What is Christianity? What is their very rich history when it comes to religion? Let us all find out. So first is the history of Christianity. What is the origin of Christianity, and what is the foundation of their belief? So the history of Christianity started in the first CE, where Jesus Christ taught the apostles about his life and teachings from God. This has become the foundation of Christianity that we know today. So, fast forward to the 5th century, the church has already been established and began to spread throughout the lands of its origin. And after many decades and centuries, after the spreading of Christianity, many different groups of Christianity began to form in different parts of the world. The one that are very well known today are the Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, and Protestantism. Though there are many more diverse groups in the world, especially in very localized regions. Next up is the influence and the global impact Christianity has brought to our world. So, Christianity throughout the years, after many diversification and unification, Christianity has brought many social and cultural impact to our world. First would be that it is the current dominant population in our world, with around 31 to 35% of the world population being Christians. And because of the Roman Catholics specifically being the largest Christian group, it has formed a very large globalized system. Next is that Christianity contributes greatly in the global migration. Many missionaries have mi- have undergone missions where they try to convert and spread the idea of Christianity through the different lands. One of the most apparent observations is the amount of and growing community of Christians in the African continent. So, this creates diversity because of the localization of the area and unity at the same time because they share the same religion. And lastly, we have the socially, culturally, and politically active influences of Christianity. Christianity as a transnational institution with a globalized system, they also respond to different social and global issues through their own means. Though this has only been a very recent observation, Christianity have always responded to very religious issues throughout the world, trying to solve it like how the UN tries to resolve many political issues between countries. And also because in our modern world, secularization has been a uh, big step back for religion. Christianity has been able to adapt fairly well with how the world and society is currently shaping. And therefore, I believe that Christianity in the future will become more influential, but that will depend on how the world will change. And now let's move on to the current world affairs of Christianity. Christianity has always had a rich history and always had an influence in different parts of the world with how many dominant population they have. So first of their current world affair is of course the battle against secularization. Secularization due to new modern ideas and ways of thinking had Christianity thinking outside the box. Since secularization has restricted many churches from their religious freedom, and also because of the growing numbers of unaffiliated or agnostic or atheist citizens worldwide, uh, Christianity have tried many and is currently trying many strategies on how they would keep their influence in the world. Next is the very diverse response to social issues. Now, as I mentioned before, Christianity is very diverse with very localized churches, but with a very unified religion. So when it comes to social issues, churches respond to these issues in a very diverse manner. Some agrees, some are against. Next is the growing communities in different countries. Due to the global migration of religions, Christianity has been able to spread their wings in the African continent and other non-Christian dominated countries and continents. A good example would be the African churches, uh, where very localized, diverse groups are forming, where, if you were to observe them, the Christian practices are mixed with indigenous ideas, expressions, and teachings. And also other diverse churches in other parts of the world, like South Korean churches, for example.
Hello classmates, I am Yancy Eiffel Simanyalas from BSCSF 21 and my PowerPoint is about from Islam. Overview of Islam. Today, Islam is the world's fastest growing religion with more than 1 billion followers throughout the world. President Obama's call for a new relationship between the United States and Muslim addressed a community that, while heavily concentrated in the Middle East and North Africa, is present throughout the world. What is what was Arabia like before Muhammad? This is how look like Arabia before Muhammad. Islam. Islam is the monotheistic religion that began in city of Mecca, located on the Arabian Peninsula near the Byzantine Empire. Arabians were polytheistic and came to visit Mecca to pray to the Kaaba, a shrine containing idols of different gods including Allah. Islam. Muhammad was born in Mecca and was interested in monotheism of Jews and Christians who traded in Mecca. At age 40, Muhammad has a vision that told him he was a messenger of Allah, Arabic word for God, the same God as Christians and Jews. Muhammad called his religion Islam, surrendered to God, and destroyed the other idols in the Kaaba. Islam. Muhammad identified rules all Muslims should live by called the five pillars of Islam. Faith, believe in one God, Allah. The second, prayers, give times every day. Number 3, alms, give money to the needy. Number 4, fasting, eat no food from sunrise to sunset for 1 month. Ramadan. Pilgrimage, one in life go to Mecca. This is how look like pilgrimage in Mecca and muezzin. Islam became a very popular religion in Mecca and Medina. Expansion of Islam. Muslims began to expand idea of jihad to that Muslim would go straight to heaven if died fighting for Allah. So they fought very hard to expand. Holy wars were considered okay in God's eye. Islam expanded into a huge empire including Spain, Northern Africa, Persia, and Arabia. Expansion of Islam. Expanded Arabic language and cultural innovation. Islamic rules provide mostly tolerant. They offered new subject 3 choices. Number 1, convert to Islam. Number 2, pay tax. And number 3, die. Islam. Like Christianity, Islam split into 2 sects. After Muhammad died, caliphs followed of Muhammad's lead. Islamic faith but confusion over the correct leadership. Caliph. Sunni. Caliph should be chosen by vote. 95% Muslim are Sunni today. Shiite. Caliphs should come directly from Muhammad's family tree. More radical 3% of all Muslims today. Prayer rug. Muslims often pray by kneeling on a rug. The design of the rug includes a pointed or arch-shaped pattern. The rug must be placed so that the arch points toward Mecca. The Quran. The sacred book of Muslims consists of verse grouped into 114 chapters or surahs. The book is the spiritual guide on matter of Muslim faith. It also contains teaching for Muslim daily life. In the following verse, Muslims are instructed to appreciate the world's physical and spiritual riches. Islam. Islam is a religion based on the teaching of the Prophet Muhammad. Followers of Islam, known as Muslims, believe that God revealed this teaching to Muhammad through the angel Gabriel. Muslims are concentrated from southern west to Central Asia and parts of Africa. Islam also has many followers in Southeast Asia. Sunni Muslims believe that their leadership should follow Muhammad's example. Shiite Muslims believe that their leadership should be Muhammad's descendant. Islam teaching the existence of only one God called Allah. In the Arabic language, Muslim believes in all prophets of Judaism and Christianity. They show their devotion by performing lifelong acts of worship known as the five pillars of Islam. This includes faith, prayer, almsgiving, charity, fasting, and pilgrimage to Mecca. The crescent moon shown above has become a familiar symbol of Islam. It may be related to the new moon that begins each month in the Islamic lunar calendar, which orders religion life for Muslims. The five points of stars may represent the five pillars of Islam. This is how look like Byzantine in Muslims. Ottoman Turks. Turks are nomads from Asia. Contact with Muslim Empire led to conversion of Turks to Islam. Ottoman Turks, most powerful group of Turks, began to grow strong as Byzantine Empire and Islamic Empire began to weaken. Defeated both Islamic Empire and Byzantine Empire created Ottoman Empire. Siege of Constantinople 1453 AD. This all look like. Thank you for listening for my topic in Islam. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmate. Now, let's talk about Hinduism religion. History of Hinduism. Hinduism has no one founder, but is instead a fusion of various beliefs. But beliefs started somewhere between 2300 BC and 1500 BC in the Indus Valley, near the modern-day Pakistan. Hinduism is the world's oldest religion, according to many scholars, with roots and customs dating back more than 4,000 years. Today, with about 900 million followers, Hinduism is the third largest religion behind Christianity and Islam. Roughly 95% of the world's Hindus live in India. Hindus, Hindus religion strives to achieve Dharma, which is a code of living that emphasizes good conduct and morality. Hindus revere all living creatures and consider the cow as sacred animal. Hinduism embraces many religious ideas. For this reason, it's sometimes referred to as a way of life or a family of religions as opposed to a single organized religion. Hinduism is closely related to other Indian religions, including Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism. Most forms of Hinduism are henotheistic, which means they worship a single deity known as Brahman, but still recognize other gods and goddesses. Followers believe there are multiple paths in achieving their goal. This religion also believes in reincarnation, and they strive to believe that if they do good things, then they will directly go to Brahman. Influence and global impact. Hinduism and Buddhism exerted an enormous influence on the civilization of Southeast Asia and contributed greatly to the development of a written tradition in that area. Here is the example of a tradition that is being managed by a Hinduism religion. One influential component of Hinduism impacting India is the large-scale caste system, known as the Varna system. The Varnacast system represented the Hindu ideal of how society ought to be structured. Dating back more than 3,000 years, the caste system divides Hindus into four main categories, which is Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and the Sudras, based on who they were lived in their past life, which they believe is their karma, and what family line they are came from. Many believe that the system originated from Brahma, the Hindu god of creation, believing that Brahmins represent the eye and the mind of Brahma and are therefore often teachers and priests. The Kshatriyas represented his arms and are often warriors, and Vaishyas represented Brahma's legs and are often farmers or merchants, and the Shudras represent his feet and often laborers. But aside those four, there are the lowest scale, which is the Dalits, the untouchables or the street cleaners. Hinduism believed that their society should go as Brahma's planned. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras are represented as Brahman's body parts, and Dalits are the lowest among them. Brahmins, the highest and the most esteemed caste, these people often hold the job of the priest. Kshatriyas, the second caste, and then Vaishyas, the third caste, Sudra, the fourth class, and the Dalits are the last class. After Hinduism is being established in India, they encountered the British Raj or Ra. The British Ra government took possession on the company's assets and imposed direct rule. The Ra was intended to increase Indian participation in governance, but the powerlessness of Indians to determine their own future without the consent of British led to an increasingly a dominant national independence and movement. The Ra succeeded management of the subcontinents by the British East India Company after general distrust and dissatisfaction with company's leadership. Though trade with India had been highly valued by Europeans since ancient times, the long route between them was subject to many potential obstacles and obfuscations from middlemen, making trade unsafe and unreliable, as well as also the trade are considered expensive. This was especially true after the collapse of Mongol Empire and the rise of the Ottoman Empire, all but blocked by the Asian Silk Road. Asian Silk Road is a road that will go through China. That the this route usually took where the silver and the gold exchange. But there's someone who took a particular role in achieving again the peace and the independence of the India from the British Raj. And the man behind that was Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi by name of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Indian lawyer, politician, social activist and writer, who became the leader of the nationalist movement against the British rule of India. People call him Mahatma, which means a great soul. Gandhi is internationally esteemed for his doctrine of non-violent protest, to achieve political and social progress. Mahatma written a lot of literature, especially takas about the how the British ruled the India and about the justice, the lack of justice. Mahatma Gandhi leads the protest for their independence. And because of the influence of Mahatma Gandhi, India is now an independent country. Current world affairs. Hinduism continues to thrive in modern-day India. Religion affects everyday life and social interactions among people through the many Hindu-inspired festivals, artistic works, and temples. Now, India can celebrate their festivals, enjoy their culture, and continue what they are used to do.
Are you familiar in the name of Buddha and Siddhartha Gautama? So in this topic, we're gonna talk about Buddhism. We're gonna talk about history of Buddhism, who is the founder of Buddhism, Buddhism beliefs, types of Buddhism, and the challenges and opportunity they take. So without further ado, let's talk about the history of Buddhism. Buddhism is one of the major religions. It originated in India in 564 to 483 BC. Buddhism is a faith was founded by Siddhartha Gautama more than 2,500 years ago in India. When Gautama passed away around 483 BC, his followers began to organize religious movement. Buddha's teaching became the foundation for what would develop into Buddhism. In the 3rd century BC, Ashoka the Great, Mauryan Indian emperor, made Buddhism the state religion in India. Buddhist monasteries were built and missionary work was encouraged. Over the next few centuries, Buddhism began to spread beyond India. The thoughts and philosophies of Buddhism became diverse, with some followers interpreting ideas differently than others. Siddhartha Gautama. Siddhartha Gautama was an Indian prince in the 5th century BC, who upon seeing people poor and dying, realized that the human life is suffering. He renounced his wealth and spent time as a poor beggar, meditating and traveling but ultimately remaining unsatisfied, setting on something called the middle way, which means existing between two extremes. Thus, he sought a life without social indulgences, but also without deprivation. Siddhartha Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, who later became known as the Buddha, lived during the 5th century BC. The Buddha. Buddha, born with the name Siddhartha Gautama, was a teacher, philosopher, and spiritual leader who is considered the founder of Buddhism. The name Buddha stands for one who is awakened, or the enlightened one. While scholars agree that the Buddha did in fact exist, the specific dates and events of his life are still debatable. So what are the Buddhism beliefs? Followers of Buddhism don't acknowledge a supreme god or deity. Deity means god or goddesses. The founder Buddha is considered extraordinary being, but not God. The path to enlightenment is attained by utilizing morality, meditation, and wisdom. Tolerant and evolving religion. Some scholars don't recognize Buddhism as an organized religion, but rather a way of life, or a spiritual tradition. Avoid self-indulgence, but also self-denial. The Four Noble Truths are essential to understand the religion. So later, we're gonna talk about Four Noble Truths. Embrace the concept of karma and reincarnation. Worship temples or in their own homes. Buddhist monks or bhikkhus follows a strict code of conduct which includes celibacy. So there is no single Buddhist symbol, but a number of images have evolved that represent Buddhist beliefs, including the lotus flower, the eight-spoke Dharma wheel, the Bodhi tree, and the swastika, or the ancient symbol whose name means well-being or good fortune in Sanskrit. So what are the types of Buddhism? So there are three types of Buddhism. Here's the one, Theravada Buddhism, prevalent in Thailand, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos, and Burma. Mahayana Buddhism, prevalent in China, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Singapore, and Vietnam. Tibetan Buddhism, prevalent in Tibet, Nepal, Mongolia, Bhutan, and parts of Russia and northern India. Each of these types differs certain texts and has slightly different interpretation of Buddha's teaching. There are also several subsects of Buddhism, including Zen Buddhism and Nirvana Buddhism. So what is Dharma? Dharma, Buddha's teachings are known as Dharma. He taught that wisdom, kindness, patience, generosity, and compassion were important values. Killing evil things, taking what is not given, sexual misconduct, lying, using drugs or alcohol. The Four Noble Truths. Dukkha, the truth of suffering. Samudaya, the truth of the cause of suffering. Nirodha, the truth of the end of suffering. Magga, the truth of the path that frees us from suffering. The Eightfold Path. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Those are the Eightfold Path of Buddhism. So later, we're gonna talk about Buddhist Holiday. So Tipitaka, these texts known as the Tea Baskets, are thought to be the earliest collection of Buddhist writing. Sutras. There are more than 2,000 sutras, which are sacred teaching embraced mainly by Mahayana Buddhists. The Book of the Dead. The Tibetan text describe the stage of death in detail. Dalai Lama, leading monk in Tibetan Buddhism, followers of the religion believe that Dalai Lama is the incarnation of past Lama that has agreed to be born again to help humanity. Buddhist Holiday. Every year, Buddhist Holiday celebrates Vesak, a festival that commemorates Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and death. During each quarter of the moon, followers of Buddhism participate in a ceremony called Uposatha. These observances allow Buddhists to renew their commitment to their teaching. They also celebrate the Buddhist New Year and participate in several other yearly festivals. Buddhists in contemporary world. So, during the 19th and 20th century, Buddhism responded to many challenges and opportunities that cut across regional religious and cultural patterns that characterized the Buddhist world and pre-modern period. A number of Buddhist countries were subjected to Western rule, and the others who avoided conquest felt heavy pressure of the Western religion, political, economic, and cultural influences. In addition, Buddhists returned to the areas where it had previously been important and spread very rapidly in the West, where new development took place that turned influenced Buddhists in Asia. In many cases, Buddhists responded to this complex situation in diverse ways. They associated Buddhism with their religious and cultural identity that they sought to preserve in face of Western domination. They used a measure to meet the challenge posed by the presence of Western Christian missionaries, often adopting modern Christian practices such as the establishment of Sunday schools, the distribution of tracts, and arrangement of worship areas so as to resemble churches and meeting houses. Buddhism also adopted the word church in its official name, Buddhist Churches of America. An establishment temple with the worship areas resembled Protestant congregation. A number of societies were established to promote cooperation between Buddhists from all countries and domination, including the Mahabodhi Society. In some cases, attention has been centered on Buddhist ideas and activities that seek to foster world peace and world justice. So as you can see on my screen, the Buddhist Peace Fellowship, founded in 1978, is one of the most prominent organizations within the movement, and so on. Challenge and opportunities. The condition of contemporary Buddhist communities and the challenges they face differently from area to area. The Buddhist communities have suffered several setbacks and have curtailed their influence and seriously sapped their vitality. The communist countries like Mongol area have central areas in mainland China and Tibet, in North Korea, in Vietnam, in Laos, in Cambodia, that work self-consciously to undercut Buddhist institutional power and influence. Buddhists were divided over the proper response to the civil war in 1983 to 2010 between the Sinhalese government and the Tamil Tigers, a paramilitary group that sought an independent state in the north for the primarily Hindi Tamils, and a lot of different challenges Buddhism takes in the parts of Asia. Finally, Buddhism communities have established shooting areas where Buddhism disappeared many centuries ago or did not exist at all before the mid-19th century. In the Western world, particularly in the United States and Canada, they grew out of new Buddhist communities which include Buddhist immigrants from different parts of Asia, the North America-born children of immigrants, and indigenous governments, has been very rapid indeed. Many indigenous converts place greater emphasis upon the practice of meditation than upon monastic life. And since the mid-20th century, the established stream of books and other media have reflected this trend. Some practices Buddhism, scholars of Buddhism, believe that the process of accommodation and acceleration in the West, and particularly in North America, is leading to the fourth turning of the wheel of Dharma, a new form of Buddhism that will turn out quite different from the tradition. Buddhism believes that the human life is one of the suffering and meditation. Spiritual and physical labor and good behavior are the way to achieve enlightenment. Tenzin Gyatso. Tenzin Gyatso is the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibetan Buddhism. For more than 2 millennia, Buddhism has been a powerful religious, political, and social force, first in India. Its originate homeland and then in many other lands. It remains a powerful religious, political, and cultural force in many parts of the world today. According to the research, there is every reason to expect that the appeal of Buddhism will continue far on into the future. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Are you familiar about Taoism? So on this topic, we talk about Taoism, the significant figures, interesting facts, rituals and key practices, religious significance, key beliefs, symbols and images, Taoism origins, Taoism timeline continued. A brief history of Taoism. Taoism was first recognized as a religious system during the 4th and 3rd centuries before Common Era. The publication of Tao teaching and other works provided a focus for Taoist thinking. Taoism became a semi-official Chinese religion during the Tang Dynasty and continued during the Song Dynasty. The significant features: Gongsun Suan Yuan, better known as Wang Di, was a significant figure in the expansion of Taoism. The name Wang Di translates into Yellow Emperor. This name was given to him by his citizens because of his benevolent acts. Lao Tzu is known as the father of Taoism through his writing of the Tao Te Ching, a book consisting of 5,000 characters. Lao Tzu developed the book when he had traveled west of China, where a guard asked him to write a book before he left. This book would later affect the development of Taoism by influencing future philosophies. Chuang-Tzu was renowned for his writing that had deep meaning yet had roots with everyday workers. Chuang-Tzu further developed Taoism after the Lao Tzu, a prominent addition being self-transformation. There are three significant figures: Wang Di, Lao Tzu, Chuang-Tzu. Interesting facts: scholars believe that Lao Tzu, that the father of Taoism, did not exist. This belief was based on a key fact that Lao Tzu is not a name. The Tao Te Ching is the most translated literature next to the Bible. Taoism translates to the way and often described as water. There are two different types of Taoism, one being a philosophical view and the other religious view. Rituals and key practices. Taoists place tremendous emphasis on physical health and longevity. Therefore, their rituals and practices are always revolved and around their lives in some way. One of these practices being Tai Chi, an expression of martial arts that was developed in Taoism to promote physical activity and to harmonize the flow of Qi energy through one's body. The second practice is Chinese medicine and acupuncture, specializing in regulating one's qi with exercise of herbal medication or applying pressure on the 365 of human point system. Acupuncture is used to cure pains and regulate health. The third ritual of practice is Feng Shui. Feng Shui, where Taoists believe in the balancing of our lives and the environment around us by arranging the way we live to encompass the spiritual energy around us, moving the bed of the northeast corner because good spiritual energy has gathered there. Religious significance. Though there have three distinct figures of Taoism: the growth stage, development stage, and declining stage. The biggest and most significant event that occurred is in the declining stage, where the Cultural Revolution started. This was the period of tragedy where Mao Zedong attempted to eliminate the legacies of Taoism and in turn helped to spread Taoism and invoke interest from many Western countries of ancient Chinese spiritually. Because of Mao Zedong's movement, now Taoism is spread out, not only concentrated in China. Through the most active Taoist nation is still Taiwan. There are estimated around 30,000 Taoists in North America and many spread across European and Asian countries too. Key beliefs. Each believer's goal is to harmonize themselves with the Tao. What is the Tao? Te, or that way, is what the Taoists followed. This seldom refer to a god, therefore there is no prayer. That they surrounds everyone, and therefore everyone must listen to find enlightenment. Yin Yang. Yin, every action has a negative consequence. And Yang, every action has a positive consequence. Equilibrium. Taoists seek a perfect equilibrium between the mind and emotions, causing inner peace and tranquility. Taoism symbols and images. Yin Yang diagram is the most important of the all Taoist symbols. Represents the movement of heaven or the Tao. The small opposing dots in each area to represent the fact that all evil there exists some good, while in all the good there exists some evil. Also, it represents dark and bright, night and day, dry and moist, aggressive and passive, sun and rain. Fuxi is the creator of Pakua, one of the Chinese cultural heroes. Pakua is the 8 triagrams that constitute the inner structure of the 64 hexagrams of I Ching. These symbols created by Fuxi. Dragon is one of the young symbols represent the power sage or saint. The three sages are Buddha, Confucius, and Lao Tzu. They represent money, power, and talent. The sacred tortoise with Pakua on its back is the symbol of wisdom and divinatory power. Kua is a hexagram form of 6 discontinuous lines. The I Ching coin is one of the symbols of Taoism, which 3 coins are used to consult the oracle. Taoism origins. Taoism originated in China. The root of Tao is defined as the way of the universe. Nature balance, it is reality that cannot grasp in the language of thought. Taoism is one of the most important strains of China thought through time. Taoism, unlike other religious traditions, has no single origin like Christianity or Islam. There are 2 distinct sources for Taoism. 1. The philosophers of the Civil War period who follow a Tao or way of nature instead of following the Tao of society. 2. The shamans and magicians who since the Shang dynasty played a significant role in the life of the ordinary Chinese population. Taoism timeline. 550 before Common Era, Taoism is created by Lao Tzu. 350 before Common Era, Taoist philosophy is developed further by Chuang Tzu. 155 to 220 Common Era, Zhang Lu organized the way of 5 bachelors of rice into religious communities were become known as Taoism of Heavenly Masters. 226 to 249, Wang Bi introduced Taoist concept into Confucian learning. 251 to 334, Wei Huakun becomes the first female leader of the Changqing sect. 365 to 448, Taoism of Heavenly Masters is brought by Ku Qinzi. 637, Emperor Taizong issues an edict ensuring that Taoists take precedence over Buddhists. 845, Emperor Wu Tuzong persecutes Buddhists and all other non-Taoist religions. 1500, San Yi Yao 3 into 1 religion is founded by Lin Zhanyu as a synthesis of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. Taoism timeline continued. 1644 to 1911, during the Manchu Qing dynasty, new movements are founded within the Taoism, Buddhism, and Christianity in China. The 3 to 1 religion is persecuted. 1920s to 1930s, national Taoist organizations are founded. Thank you and be happy.
And now we have reached the conclusion of our discussion. Let us find out what we have learned and what we think will be the path that religion will take in the future. The future of religion and globalization. Now we will see a synthesis of what we think the religions will pursue in the future and how and what they will be doing. So first is the diversification and unification of the different religions. So similar to political globalization, globalizations of religions are becoming more diverse as they migrate globally and form localized beliefs of what they originally were. This diversity also creates a globalized system that promotes unification, but only the future will tell. So here, like the globalization that we have studied in this subject, we believe that the globalization of religion is not that different when it comes to the future that it will entail. Next is that religion is most likely to stay. Even with the progressive values and ideas the 21st century has brought, religion still managed to adapt with society's changes and therefore is most likely to stay for a long time to further teach their beliefs through literature and modern techniques. This has been very apparent in our history of religions, with how much hurdle religions have survived in. So this is what we believe religion will most likely stay, but only the future will tell. And that's all there is to our report. I hope that you guys were able to understand and have a meaningful experience with our topics today. And we will see you again next time.